Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Dorian Show. It is the best show on the planet, allegedly, according to one of my listeners. Anyway, I might sound a little congested today, and that's could be two things. Number one, it could be the Roni, or the other thing is that I've been binge eating carbs and salt for the past week. And that's why I feel so terrible. I don't know. Sometimes I'm surprised I'm not even fatter by how much I eat, you know. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I haven't gone to the gym in over a week either, which is all bad, and that's because I didn't have my car. And let me tell you, I was like panicking the whole time. I had some car issues, and I was like, oh god, I don't want to deal with it. Like that's number one. I don't want to deal with it. And then the second thing is I think everybody's gonna try to screw me over. You know, like I think my insurance is gonna try to screw me over and not try to pay out whatever claims I had. I think my dealership's gonna try to screw me over and just use like the most expensive parts, and then my insurance won't cover it all. All types of bad news. But it turns out there was nothing wrong with my car. Really, they said there was some debris that got into the sensors, and that's why it was acting like it was gonna explode. Anyway, so I mean, I just didn't have a car for a week. They were able to fix it pretty quick. Didn't cost me anything. I didn't need to make a claim with the insurance, which is nice. It was just a tough week, you know. I without my car, I was just like, my life is over. I'm just gonna binge eat freaking pot stickers and crackers and cheese and salami. I gotta say, Ritz crackers. You remember those? I used to think they were so good. They are not good. I ate a bunch. I ate like a whole roll so far, a whole sleeve of them, and they are so sweet. It almost tastes like I'm eating like Oreos or something. It's just way too sweet, and it just didn't taste right with the cheese and the salami. I didn't stop eating it though. I just kept eating it and be like, "This is disgusting. Who would ever do this?" So yeah, the Super Bowl just happened. You guys, I don't know if you guys watched it or not, but football is a way better game than basketball. I hate to say it. I know NBA is like one of the highest growing, fastest growing. Sorry, I'm ESL. It's one of the fastest growing sports in the United States, but I'm like to me, basketball is so boring because there's so many games, and even when you get to the playoffs, it's so many games. You have the best of 7 games to move on. Like there's no like it feels like the stakes are very low. You know what I mean? Like by the time someone plays like 7 games, you already kind of know who is the better team. Typically, the best team that moves forward. But in football and in soccer, it's whoever wins the game. I think if it was that way for the NBA, then there will be different champions because everything rests on one game, and I think that makes the game more exciting. But we know the NBA loves money, and like, who could blame them? Who could blame them? Do you guys watch the halftime show with Usher? I gotta say that was so boring, dude. It didn't matter how many stars he brought up, like Alicia Keys, Jermaine Dupri, Ludacris, Little John. Ludacris and Little John were pretty sick, though. Actually, I take that back. Um, but overall, it was just boring, and I'm like, how much money did they spend on that freaking roller skate thing? It was pretty trash, you know. I think it would have been better if they just had Taylor Swift like running around the field, just like flipping Niner fans off, you know, or just to have her do like all Kanye's song, like that would go viral. You want to go viral, just have Taylor Swift do Kanye's best hits with all the words. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was boring. I like fell asleep halfway through the game, and then I did watch it through overtime, and I gotta say, dude, it was kind of anticlimactic. You know, I was rooting for San Francisco, obviously, because that's where I'm from. But dude, they were at like the 15-yard line, and there was a guy wide open. They just flipped it to him, wide open, easy catch. Anyone would have been able to catch it. And that was it. That was the Super Bowl, and Kansas City won. What was it? They won 3 championships in 5 years, which is, I guess, insane. But yeah, I first time ever like seen Travis Kelce. I'm not a huge football fan, but I do watch some playoffs. I do watch the Super Bowl. And dude, this guy is like so unlikable. He's just like muscled his coach. He bumped him, almost knocked his coach over, dude. I was like, dude, what an asshole, dude. What a loser. What a loser. All right, that's enough. I said, wow, what a loser. That was pretty bad. But yeah, but I mean, good for him, dude. He's a winner. He's won multiple rings. He's dating. He's got the girl. You know, maybe I'm just a hater. And maybe pushing your coach is totally fine. I don't know. Anyway, what else is there? Dude, I know I'm supposed to talk about finance. I mean, I kind of did. Sports, money. Dude, over the weekend, I met like the most aggressive tamales salesman in my life, dude. It was insane. This guy, he was called the Tamale Man in Torrance. That's where I had to pick up my car, dude. I walk in there and immediately. He's like, "I'm gonna change your life." He's like, "We have 3 options. We got the super tamale, super duper tamale, and the super duper duper tamale." And those 3 items aren't even on the freaking menu. And he wouldn't even let you like even try to buy those things. He'd be like, "No, you got to get the super tamale. It's gonna change your life." Do super aggressive tactics. But I was like, whatever, dude. My friend David drove me down there to pick up my car, and that's what he wanted. At that point, I'm sold. I'm like, basically whatever he wanted, I was gonna get it. I was like, fine, give us like 2 super duper duper tamales and whatever. My friend got a couple more tacos. We got a couple Diet Cokes. And then like he brings me up to the cash register, takes my credit card, swipes it, and he doesn't give me my receipt. So I was like, dude, like what's going on? Like, are these tamales going to be like $50, $200, $2,000? I don't know. And the food was just whatever, dude. It's not what they do is trying to. I think they got famous off TikTok. They probably paid for someone to do advertisement for them. But what is it? What it basically is a giant tamale, and then they put cheese, melted cheese over it, put some avocado on it, rice and beans on the side. It's whatever, dude. Like, yeah, I mean, I think that looks good on the gram, but I don't even really want cheese and freaking avocado over my tamale. I just wanted a freaking tamale. But yeah, it was just funny. Like there was another customer that came in and he like gave the same exact pitch, but then she didn't want his tamales. She was just like, "Can I just get like a regular? Can I get like 5 regular tamales?" And he was like, "Yeah, I can't." He was like, "I can't sell that to you because if I do, I'll lose hundreds of dollars." Which I was like, "Jesus, dude, what a piece of shit." They like went back and forth for like a good 5-10 minutes before he let the lady like buy some tacos, which I thought was freaking insane, dude. But it was, I mean, turned out the meal was like $50 something, which I think it's a rip off, but it's not enough for me to, fight it. But it was just so crazy how he was such an aggressive salesman for tamales. You know what I mean? Like he makes used car salesmen look good. But the crazy thing about like used car salesmen, like when they like rip someone off, like they only need you to buy one car, really. I mean, technically you want people to come back and buy other cars from you, but sometimes like used salesmen don't care. They're like, "I'm just gonna sell you this car. I'm gonna pressure you. I'm gonna make you buy something you're gonna regret later." But at least they make like a good amount of money, right? Like at least a couple $1,000s. But this guy is just using aggressive tactics on like $20, $25 tamales, and like people hate him. Like I looked at his Yelp review and everybody's like, "Dude, this guy is just a piece of work." But anyway, I gave him 5 stars because I enjoy his hustle, even though it was crazy. It was almost funny how aggressive he is, and you know what they say. Coffee is for closers, and he was closing, baby. But I guess he's been doing this for at least a couple years because my friend just saw him on TikTok recently. But the reviews go by 3 years where he was just using high pressure sales tactics. Anyway, if you guys have been to the Tamale Man in Torrance, let me know. Dude, leave a comment. Dude, just leave comments in general, guys. Hit like, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to me. If you're listening to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever podcast station you're listening to, it will definitely help your boy out, dude. You know? All right, let's get into earnings. I just got to say, I don't know anything about anything. Like, stocks I thought was going to go down went up, and stocks that I thought were going to go up like went down. And I mean, some of them make sense, but like some of them don't. Like Disney went up like 10% on their earnings call, you know, and their streaming excuse me, their earnings weren't that great. They made a profit. Excuse me, they were able to cut costs to basically where they're almost about to be profitable in the streaming. Whoop-de-doo, big deal. But the crazy thing is that people bought it up because they decided to team up with Warner Brothers and Fox to start another streaming business where they're going to put all their sports properties together. Which on the one hand, I could see why people would like that, because after they consolidate, they'll have more purchasing power against like the big players like Google, Apple, Netflix. But then also, this is going to be like their 4th streaming service. You know, it's like Bob Iger's like, yeah, you know what's going to be better than 3 streaming platforms? We're going to have 4. So I think it's overall good for sports fans, but it's going to be, I don't know how this is going to be good for Disney, dude. They have 4 streaming platforms. Like ESPN is going to be part of this new thing, but ESPN is going to be a thing on its own. So that's at least 4. Another big news, they just took a $1.5 billion stake in Epic Games, which, if you guys are gamers, are the creators of Fortnite. For Epic Games is maybe a $30 billion company. It's privately held, so it's not publicly traded. I think Tencent maybe owns like 40 to 50% of it, so that's not good. So in this deal, they didn't say how much Disney owns, but I'm guessing probably a good amount. They paid $1.5 billion, and they're giving Epic Games, access to all their properties, Marvel, Disney, Star Wars, blah blah blah, to make games. So maybe that's why people like the news in Disney. But I'm like, all right, like how much of that is gonna help your bottom line? $1.5 billion to Epic Games, where 40% is already owned by Tencent. Like how big is your piece of the pie to even move the stock price? I don't know. They didn't get into details, but they did get what's his name, Nelson Peltz from Treon off their back, because this guy is trying to muscle in there, trying to fire Bob Iger. I think Bob Iger's doing all right. Disney also announces that they're going to do a standalone ESPN app, which includes ESPN Plus, but it doesn't include the 2 other companies, Fox and Warner Brothers. And basically, this is going to be an everything app. It's going to have fantasy sports, which is good, and it's going to have betting, which is a very important part. Disney's partnering up with Penn. So Penn used to be with Barstool Sports and have their Barstool Sports sports betting app. They cut ties with Barstool Sports now. That app's going to be used for ESPN. Maybe one day Disney's just going to buy Penn Gaming, but I don't know. So right now they're going to be using their app to help gamble. And that's pretty exciting news out of everything, I guess. I don't know how it's going to pay off because it hasn't been made yet, but many states are legalizing sports betting, and I think California is going to legalize it soon. They really screwed it up last time. There were 2 separate ballots. when there should have just been one. They should just work together and gotta pass, dude. But this could potentially be a huge move for Disney. Big movies coming out: Moana 2, Deadpool, Mufasa. These are gonna be great hitters. So maybe it's justified that they moved up 10, 20, 10%, 15, 13%. I think it's close to, as we're doing this pod, I think they're up to, let me see. They are over $100. They're at $109 a share. Whereas like a couple weeks ago, it was down to like 80 and stuff. So that's crazy. Good for Disney, dude. Good for me. I'm still down a lot of money, but I'm looking forward to making a ton of money, you know? So hope that goes well. So Disney, great. Pepsi was down. Pepsi was down 3.5% after earnings. Their revenue was up for beverages North America. No, revenue was up, but earnings were down for beverages. Frito-Lay was up. However, they were selling less units, meaning overall their earnings were okay, I guess. But the bad thing was they were selling less units of chips and drinks and stuff. So I guess before, when I was talking about how they basically have pricing power and people are still buying stuff, I might be wrong. I think they've hit a point where price conscious consumers are starting to look at other things to buy. Like they're like, yeah, we're not gonna pay for this. But they still made money. I still like Pepsi. Pepsi probably is gonna freaking destroy over Super Bowl weekend, you know, like people throwing parties and stuff. Like you buy like Doritos, you're buying Pepsi, you're buying Pepsi products, Mountain Dew, like a lot of that stuff, like chips and dips, like a lot of that is Pepsi. So I think they're gonna be fine. People are afraid of Ozempic taking into cutting their profits out of Pepsi and other fat people stocks, but like I said before, Ozempic is costing like $1,000 a month, so only rich people have access to it. People are still gonna eat. I ate, dude. I just binged ate for a week plus. And did I eat any Pepsi product? Well, yeah, Gatorade. But yeah, anyway, I think. So there has slowdowns in North America, so Canada, America, Mexico, whatever. But in an international, they're growing fast, dude. Their drinks are growing fast. Their snacks department is growing fast. So I think Pepsi is fine. Right now, their forward PE is 19, I believe, as compared to the S&P 500. I think S&P currently trades probably like forward PE of 23 or something like that, mostly because of tech. But they're usually around like the 21 PE. But right now, my boy, forward PE for Pepsi was like 19. This morning, I mean, now it's 20, but surprise, I bought more shares. I bought $10,000 worth of Pepsi. I think it'll be fine. I think it will make up. I think by the end of the year, that $10,000 would probably be up over 5%, which is what you're getting back on your treasury bills. So whatever, I wasn't surprised about Pepsi going down, but I was happy to be able to get some shares. Alibaba was down 7%. After basically whatever news, like they're not growing. Like their main, I think their main drivers, which is their online sales and stuff like that, online marketplace, like it was going up like single digits, low to mid single digits. So people were like, dude, this sucks, dude. And they got other people coming after them, taking taking a share of the market like Temu and all that other cheap Asian stocks. Um, However, they have pretty good spots in their earnings. I think their other division doing well, like their logistics are doing really well, et cetera, et cetera. So I think someone also said, I didn't check this at all, but people say like they're they're only 3 times the price of their current cash flow. So so basically a third of their market cap is their cash, which is insane. So that means they could just buy up a third of their stocks tomorrow. And yeah, I don't know. I think Alibaba is very cheap at this point. But there's also a lot of risk. Like the U.S. and China aren't doing very well, and if Trump wins, and I think he probably will, like Trump freaking hates China, dude. I remember when he was president, they were talking about delisting a lot of Chinese stocks. They might have done it. They might have done it to some of them, but they didn't do it to Alibaba. It might be when he wins, he might just delist Alibaba, so and you would just lose all your money. But besides that, if the U.S. is not gonna try to delist Alibaba, I think they should be fine in the long run. They actually might be, out of all the stocks I own right now, might be the only ones where I'm like, it's probably a guaranteed win in the next couple of years if they don't go into a war with Taiwan, if they don't piss off Trump, because their economy is bad right now. Once it picks up, the earnings should go up. Alibaba has diversified, so besides their online marketplace, they have really strong sectors, even though the marketplace is their top priority, top earner. I mean, so right now it's about $73. I think it's fine to buy it here. I haven't bought it yet. I'm hoping it would go below $70. If it goes below $70, I'm gonna go gangbusters, which doesn't mean anything. Like if it's down like another 3-4%, that's only like 5%. So this is like one of the reasons why you shouldn't buy individual stocks, because I'm like, why would I wait for it to go down 5% if I think it's gonna go up? I could just get it now. Like what's 5% on the table in the long run, But these are some of the type of mind games you play on yourself. So for some reason, I wouldn't feel good buying it today at $73, but at $69, oh, Papa, I would feel great buying it. Finally, last but not least, my favorite stock, my favorite sector is Cameco's earnings came out. Cameco, basically in my uranium play, North America's largest producer of uranium. It was down 7% after earnings came out. Basically what I thought was going to happen on their earnings happened. Their contracts are screwed. So basically, you guys don't know what's going on. Cameco produces uranium for people to run nuclear plants. They contract out their pounds of uranium years ahead of time. So that way they'll have a floor they have a floor price on how much they will sell the uranium for, but they also have a ceiling. So basically what happens is, even if the market price for uranium is like $100 to $120, they will only get like 60 something dollars profit for 2024, I think, which is insane. The other thing is that they underproduce uranium. So I think for 2024, they are thinking they will have to buy 2 million pounds in the spot market to deliver for like $60, and they would have to pay whatever the market price is. The thing is, uranium is, everybody agrees, like there's a shortage in uranium, and my guess there's a higher likely that uranium is going to hit $120 in 2024 than it is to hit $80. And if that happens, it's going to screw up Cameco because they're stuck buying these elevated prices and selling it at a loss to their customers. Um, the good thing, I mean, the good thing is that basically what they're producing right now, they say that's their 20% of their capacity, and they're saying they have options to start mining new mines or turning on old mines so they could produce more pricing, more units of uranium. However, they're playing it safe, right? So they won't even start it until uranium's probably like past 120 or 140. But by that time, like, how long does it take to get these mines started? You know what I mean? Like I don't think Cameco is gonna be like a play for you to get rich. At its highest, I doubled my money, but I was hoping I would be able to like 5 times my money, and I'm starting to think that's likely not going to happen. I think they will be fine in the long run. The only reason why they would go straight to the moon is because there's nothing else people could buy in the United States. They could get the I guess they could get the ETF funds for uranium, and Cameco is one of the largest holdings. And then that's it. They could either buy Cameco or they could buy Sprott Uranium Trust, which is not even traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Like you have to get it over the counter, a pink slip. So the only play really is Cameco. You can't buy Kazatomprom because that's not traded on the U.S. Stock Exchange. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that the hype would drive it forward. Um, I plan on buying some more Cameco for basically for like the past couple years. I'm like, dang, dude, I wish I bought more of it. Which obviously, when it doubles, you're like, damn, I wish I bought more of it, but I didn't. It's currently at $43.50. I will be buying it hand over fist, as they say, when it's under $40. I think at that price it would be reasonable, and likelihood that it will break $50 is definitely higher than it will than going back to $20 or $25. And if it does, I'm just going to buy more, because if it drops that much, it just means that the uranium price is going to be even higher, and they are slow to restart their mines. But they will restart their mines, right? So it might drop, and then when they're losing their margins because they're buying the fair value of uranium for, like, let's say $140, and people are like, dude, your margins are dying. And then they're like, dude, we're going to restart our mines. Like, that news is going to make them go up to the moon, I think. What do I know? I don't know anything, guys. I do not know anything. Anyway, Bitcoin, Ethereum is going up. I have a bunch of those. Not a bunch. I have a few $1,000s in those. But that's it. I think I'm going to end it there. It's 3 o'clock. I haven't left my apartment in a long time because of my car issues, and I'm fat. So I'm going to go pretend to read a book at the coffee shop so I could stare at some babes. All right. I'll see you guys later. Peace.